You've got no debt whatsoever. Maybe a mortgage.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you've got at least 6 months of your monthly expenses in a bank account that you can access whenever.
Yeah.
And you've got an investment account that's just crossing over a few tens of thousands. Take us through your money life. Give us an example. Can you walk me through your typical monthly spending? Like, where does your money usually go?
Well, my money goes usually on braces, right? For my daughter,
Oh, yeah.
my 15-year-old daughter. So I'm paying that off, and I think actually that's quarterly, right? But that's like a
So that's a loan.
that's like
paying a
$1,000 a
loan?
quarter. Yeah. Yes. No, I'm paying for these beautifully straight teeth.
No,
Love
that's
it.
right. That's right.
And
Debt financed.
yes, and then what else am I paying for? I'm paying for tutoring. So
For
my daughter.
Oh,
as well.
lovely.
Yes.
Yes.
So maths and English tutoring.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it is good. So I'm happy to pay for that, but that's a consistent
Yes.
bit of money that flies out. The money that I spend a lot on is food still.
Yep. So groceries, making sure the cupboards are full.
Yes, and just also still the old, I think I might need to go down to the shops and get a block of chocolate and a big bag of chips.
Delicious sweet treats.
Yes.
Is that what we're talking?
Yes. What else do I spend money on? The usual bills.
Like
Electricity and water and
utilities?
Yes, all that sort of stuff. And I also pay rent, and I also
Accommodation?
Yes, and I pay entertainment.
What's that?
Well, entertainment in the form of streaming services. So you've got your Netflix and the like. Although I don't have too many of those, and I don't have Sky Television, but I am the voice of Sky Television. So.
I knew that.
No, and I what else do I do? I spend money on concerts. Not
Okay.
all the time though. I do my very best because I do work in the industry to try and
Get free tickets.
do good things for people that might be able to
That sounds dodgy.
work the promoters in a way in which I might be able to go along to a concert and then give it a review. So it is a
Yeah, gotcha. Cool.
reciprocal thing.
Yeah. Nice.
And you know what I spend a lot of money on, which is an add-on to entertainment. I might go to these concerts and I might be lucky enough that I get the odd free ticket here and there. But I spend money on merchandise. I do.
Yeah.
And I went to the Cult, right? You know, the Cult.
Mm.
They were great when I saw them a couple of weeks ago. And I'm looking at the merchandise and I'm going, what is that top over there? What is that top over there? I can't even see. It just looks like a tank top. Well, I mean, where's the Cult written on it or whatever? And I got them to pull it down for me and they showed it to me and they said, yeah, it's got the Cult, but it's quite faint. And I'm like, well, what is the point? How much is that? $80. I'm okay. Thanks very much. I'll have this T-shirt.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and so I bought the T-shirt, which had the Cult on the front. But, because I was so preoccupied looking at this other T-shirt, whatever, and I was like, I'm not going to spend that much money, but I'll get that one because that one's $50, $60. Then once I sort of put it on after the fact, I said to my friend, so has it got like the tour details on the back of it? Nothing. It had nothing on the back of it. So I'd paid $60 for a T-shirt that realistically I probably could have bought from Farmers in the band merchandise section.
From JJ's or Cotton On.
Totally. Yeah. So
$9 special.
yeah, so I was thinking it was a nice T-shirt, and sometimes merchandise is, like bad enough that I don't buy it.
I can feel the passion about these T-shirts when you're talking. Have you heard of a thing called girl math?
Do tell.
Girl math is something like, so I buy these expensive T-shirts at concerts. However, if I think about it, all of the concerts that I've potentially bought in the past and kept and have in my wardrobe and maybe didn't sell, they're probably worth more than if I bought 10 T-shirts. So buying this one's basically free.
No. Let me stop you there. Girl math. Okay. No, actually, it's true. They are now a commodity. These
collectibles.
the likes of like the Led
Collectible.
Zeppelin T-shirts and that sort of thing. Seriously, if you've managed to hold on to one of those, if your parent still has one that hasn't been washed very much and it's not faded out,
I'd agree
then
with
they
that.
are worth upwards of $1,000. But You know what? Do I hold on to these things? I do not.
No. What I was meaning is sometimes we can get creative ways to justify spending.
Sure, yes.
And it's not something that I didn't, a phrase that I didn't coin, but it's been thrown around a lot, is girl math. Like an example would be, oh, I've got to buy that moisturiser. Oh, but it's $180. Hold on. If I get that is that big, that means that I would apply this much every week, which means it's really only 5 cents an application. It's free. Almost.
So you're trying to tell me...
I'll grab it. So that's like the extreme justification for making purchases was called.
So
girl
guys
math.
don't have guy math where they go to like maybe Repco and
They
go,
probably do, but I don't think
if I
social
buy
media,
this much oil and these many bloody,
they probably
sockets.
They will do that, but it just hasn't, because I think girls do it more. So you were able to list things off.
Because I did a budget recently.
Oh. Did that change the way that you work your money?
Well, the reason why I did a budget was because I did have an end goal in mind, and that's been the biggest shift for me, is that, like I'm finally going, hang on a minute, rather than just bumbling along and just ensuring. I always, for quite a long time, was quite just proud of myself that I was able to manage my bills and juggle all the stuff that came in, what comes with being a single mum, and like so many different last minute camp fees and stationery or whatever that comes
to be
in.
able to meet the needs.
Yeah. And no, I was always I always managed to be able to pay that on time. But, the whole savings side of things was never really, I think for a time there I probably had told myself, what's the point? But so now that I'm like, actually I'm in a position where I'm doing quite well in my career and,
What do you mean, making good money-ish?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yep.
I just don't want to show off.
That's all right. Don't be embarrassed. If you're good at something, you should be paid.
Yes, true. Okay, yeah. So now that I'm in a position where I feel that I'm more stable as well, because I changed contracts, moved to a new company recently. So I mean, for a little bit there, I was like, oh no, can't make any of these big maneuvers. But now that I really feel like I'm quite comfortable, I've proved myself, and I'm earning, pretty good money.
You want to save some of it?
No. I'm just much more aware of it. It's not so much easy come, easy go now. Like I'm aware. Like okay, I've just been given quite a big pay rise, but it could easily be siphoned off into the stupidest things, right?
Yeah, frittered away without notice.
Yes,
without notice.
Absolutely. I'm queen of frittering money away, but now I don't want to. And so now that I'm really sort of zeroing in on my budget, which I mean, God, up until a few months ago, I never had one of those. A budget, you say?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's just a plan, right? It's just now you've got a vision of where your money should go, and don't put any more unless what it says.
Well, now I'm looking at my insurance, because I've got pet insurance and I've got comprehensive car insurance, and my car's a piece of shit.
Okay.
So why I have comprehensive car insurance?
Yeah.
For a car that $7,000 or something, there's no way it's worth that now. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should do that. I mean, I don't know if
I'm
you have
into
a financial advisor or anything, but you should tap them and go, give me a better deal.
Why did they do that?
Yeah. They'll
Really?
shop around for you and
Will
see if they
they?
can find you a better deal. Aileen will.
Yes, Aileen. Yes, girl. Okay.
Aileen will.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
you know what? It's interesting. It's interesting how you can turn a blind eye, or I don't know, maybe some people go over their statements with a fine-tooth comb every month, but
None.
But yeah,
No one.
I couldn't have even told you when all of these payments, like I've got a Spotify Duo payment that comes out, and I've got all these Apple payments, and maybe like a subscription for the newspaper that comes out, and I can't even tell the difference. I don't even know which one is my car insurance compared to which one is my contents insurance sometimes,
So you're saying that you've done the exercise of doing a budget, which is really understanding how money moves around in your household at home, and you've identified all of these subscriptions that have been added over the years and stayed there, and then you're like, oh, I'm so glad we had a look. I might get rid of a couple of those.
Yeah, and I think definitely need to look into which ones are actually really doing me, good service, or whether because I've sat on so many of them for a while, right?
Yeah.
But then again, I was reading something the other day about how if you if you change, so like, like if you're with an energy company and you know how you constantly get these things
Switch.
saying, if you switch, blah, 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 and you'll get all this extra money. And if you make your mobile bill be with us, you'll get all this. Well, apparently that you don't want to do that too many times because then your credit, they check your credit and then that can affect your credit rating.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but I know that it can affect your credit rating if you miss payments.
No, this was like if you actually have a company that runs a credit check on you, which is so like if you swapped from Contact to something else.
Yeah.
So if you did that the once, it's fine. But if you were constantly changing it, that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I probably change every handful of years. I usually look around and think, I'll get a bill and I'm like, that's too big. And I know that even after I've changed, it's probably going to be about the same. But you can look around to see if there's any deals.
Yeah.
And what I mean by deals is like I've scored myself a brand new flat screen TV because I moved to an energy provider and I just had to stay there for 2 years and I was comfortable with what their quotes looked like. So I just did that and got a free TV. And then after 2 years, I started shopping around again.
Okay.
So you can do things like that.
Have you checked, like, you're meant to apparently check your credit rating
I
once
wouldn't
a
even
year.
worry about.
It said you're meant to check it once a year to make sure that there's nothing on there that is incorrect.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't worry too much about that. In my opinion, it's a slick way of marketing to you. And they go, this is your credit score. Oh, by the way, because of your credit score, you can borrow money from these guys. You can get a loan over here if you want. If you want a Visa credit card with these guys because of your score, that it's a way to...
Yeah, interestingly, though, that they don't actually match up because I've had that with Credit Simple, but then you get the actual, the authorized one?
Yeah. Look, unless you have missed bills, I would disregard that completely, changing providers, because no one's going to change every month anyway. I would disregard that.
Okay.
So, but back to those streaming services.
Yep.
I dumped all of ours and just kept one because no one was really watching them. Oh, I watched that one series. Oh, when did you start watching it? Oh, about 6 months ago. Oh, have you watched it all? Oh, no, about halfway through. Delete.
Yeah. Well,
So-
we got rid of Neon and what was the other one? We have Netflix. Netflix is a good one. But then you've got TVNZ, which is free.
Yeah, exactly right. You've got TVNZ Plus, which is free. You've got Freeview, and you've got 3 Now, which is free. So you can pay for one. But if you've
And
got
you can
5,
piggyback off a mate as well still.
if you've got 5 and you go down to 1, don't just start paying one. Have a think about that money that you've saved by not paying the others and start sending it to an investment. Keep feeling like you're paying it, but to yourself. Because what a lot of people do is will thin down their budget and then fritter that away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like I stopped paying Lotto. Like I stopped playing that because my theory always was, well, whoever it was that won it. Oh, no, sorry, no. My theory was that if I don't spend $2.80, which was what I was spending because I chose 4 lines, that's the lowest amount that you could spend. And if I don't spend that $2.80 twice a week,
yeah.
then, I'll spend it on something else for sure. And then, at least there's still
Yeah.
the chance of winning. But I just thought, it's just all adding up too much. And I never, ever won anything.
Yeah. When you go through and do an audit, which is basically a budget, and then you make some decisions because you've had a look and you've gone, why am I paying for all those things? A really good idea is to add up what you are paying and pay it to a savings account. Don't just leave it there because you'll fritter it away.
Yeah.
Because you know you can survive paying all those things.
Yeah,
except
true.
now you're paying it to you. Because this is where people will tighten up their budget and now they've just got a bigger overflow that fritters. So you need to commit. Just like you've got rent, groceries, tutoring, savings,
Braces.
braces. Make wealth accumulation the most important one.
Right. So see what you can shave off each and every one of them, but not to just float around in that same, your credit account?
Just floating around in your bank
Check
account.
account, sorry,
And
yep.
your check account, just going on this and going on a McDonald's drive-through and
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Because make it still hidden away like you're paying it, but pay it to yourself. A classic example. I stopped paying Lotto, but I opened a Sharesies account and set up an automatic payment and sent the $24 I was spending every week to Sharesies.
$24.
$24.
Shit.
Do you want to see something?
Oh, your shares. So how long ago was this?
2020, the start of the year. It was February 2020, just before the COVID.
You show me because I cannot calculate that times.
And so this is what it's turned into.
Fuck off. Really? Oh, because it's investments. Okay.
It's investments. Now have a look
What,
at
and
this.
have you put anything else in there? Just your lotto money.
Yeah, no, I started with my lotto money.
Okay, well, I was just going to say that.
No, but I did that for about 12 months.
Okay.
But then I got excited because I saw what was happening.
So then you started like actually making.
I started getting serious about it. Not only did I start putting more in, I started really wanting to learn more about how it works.
Okay.
And so if you can see there, you can see I spent a little bit to go to New York. All right, why not? But you see how much I've put in? 50.
Yes.
And see how much it's given me back up top, the number above it.
Okay. And are
So-
you still making payments to your KiwiSaver as well?
Yeah,
Okay, hard out.
yeah.
Boom.
So that is a classic example of stopping paying something, but redirecting it to something else.
Okay.
Don't leave it in the ether because
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
not have that.
Right. Again, it's another classic example of it compounding and you going, hey, hang on a minute, and I'm getting more money the more
Yeah.
that is in there. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it. Okay. All right then. Well, I mean, my $2.80 twice a week is probably not going to like really enthuse me that greatly initially,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
will
Have a look
scrape
at
a little off some of these other
Yeah.
payments.
Yeah, that's right. So it almost becomes, I've said this a few times with our chats, it almost becomes a game where you constantly, like, don't be embarrassed to be interested in what's happening, and don't feel like Scrooge McDuck to look at your bank account a couple of times a day to make sure you're on track. Get into that habit and you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, that's just one. That's just one I send money to. I've got another one I opened up and sent money to, just because I got rid of because that's me, and then there's Kylie and me. And what I did is when I went through our budget and we did a recheck, I got rid of lots of stream. I got rid of Disney. I got rid of Neon. We had too many. I got rid of Apple TV, and I just counted it up, added it up exactly, and then it still came out of our bank account, our joint bank account, but now it went to our joint investments.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool.
that's a really good good
Okay.
tip.
Still, though, with Sharesies, they still do dip down sometimes as well, right? Is that right?
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're buying either little pieces of a fund, and a fund is a whole bunch of companies. So you're buying a little piece of a whole bunch of companies, and sometimes those pieces are growing in value. Like you might have bought it for $1, and a year later it might be $1.50, and it's grown in value because the companies underneath that are doing okay and making money. But sometimes they shrink in value if the companies are going down. But this is the most important thing. Don't get tied up on whether you're going to make money or lose money. The trick to being a successful investor for an everyday person like you and me is to first find the money
To
and
put in
put
there.
it
Yeah.
in there.
Yes.
A lot of people will
So
go
you can
like,
then speculate on the stock exchange? Is
you
that the one?
can,
Yes,
yeah,
okay,
you
good.
can speculate, or you could talk to your advisor and get some tips about what you may want to do. There's rules they've got to follow when they talk to you about that, but that's cool. But you will learn because Kylie does it now, right?
Yeah. So clearly, I'm right in saying that it's very similar to the KiwiSaver situation.
It's the same.
However, you have the difference is it's not like, oh, cool, hopefully I live that long and I can spend all this money that's accumulating. This is money that you can use, like, so it's there.
Yeah.
And, it's...
You can use it.
yeah, well, you don't have to, but at least it's there. At least you can draw
It's
it down.
accessible.
If you need to. Yeah.
It's accessible.
Yeah, cool.
What's one thing you always seem to overspend on, no matter how hard you try and budget?
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like but the combination of groceries, brought lunches, takeaways, brought dinners, the whole was shebang.
Yeah.
Do you know that if you said if you put a plan and said we're only going to do takeaways on Friday nights, Isla and Caius from now on, it's just because a mama wants to save a bit of money so that we can be richer. Are you kids down with that?
Do you think that your kids are down with that?
You just
They're
tell 'em.
not.
You
They're like,
just tell
oh,
'em.
yay, okay, because you're going to save money, Mum. Woo.
No, I'm being facetious. But
Yeah.
but what you do is so with that, because if you could keep doing it, would you like to spend less, but not miss out, but just spend less?
Yeah, and like I haven't actually started doing the order all your stuff and get it sent to you
Yeah.
from the supermarket.
That's
I
just an
haven't
idea.
done that. I know, but
That's just an idea.
I haven't even tried that yet.
You could put real easy barriers on yourself. You could say, okay, I'm gonna make lunch 3 days a week, and just keep.
Yeah, what I think it is, I think it's they just stop off at the supermarket, which is right by my work, which happens to be like the most expensive metropolitan supermarket in the country.
Yeah.
I go in there and I grab, like an energy drink or two, and then
Yeah.
I sort of always tend to grab something else as well. And
See, what a lot of people don't realise is that you don't have to miss out. You could still do all of that, but you will know that you spend $37 a week on that, and that's it. So,
but I change my mind as to what I want each time, right? So how?
well, you give yourself a limit and you say no if you go over it,
Okay, yeah,
and you do whatever you want.
got it. So that has to be for the week.
Yeah, and and the hardest thing for most people is that you are going to have to think about changing the way you've always done something. This is the hard bit.
Yeah.
You've got to think about, like I like doing it the way that I do it because I know how to do it. It's convenient for me. I know I've got time to do it that way. And then if someone comes along and says, oh, well, if you want this outcome, you simply just have to do it different.
Yeah, it's a willpower thing as well.
It's a willpower
and it's
thing.
also not being too hard on yourself when initially you just splurge and you go, oh shit,
Yeah.
like I think you just keep picking back up on it and trying it again until it sets
Yeah.
in.
Like, for example, this person over here, how they do it, they do their budget, but they put splurge money in their budget. It might be $50. Splurge money. If I don't spend it all, it's still there. And they take it out of their bank and put it in their wallet, and splurge money is cash, and it sits there, and that's my splurge money.
Yeah.
Go out for dinner spontaneously money. You can have that in there.
Yeah.
A-
Buy
and-
a round of drinks.
Yeah.
Like it's always a bit of a funny one when you go up to get drinks and somebody goes, oh, I'll get them all. And then you go, oh, no.
Yeah,
It's cool
no, because I'm
not going to get them all.
I'm not
And
getting them all when it's my turn.
I'm also not going to have 5 rounds of drinks myself. I'm not going to have 5 drinks. I'm probably going to have 2
Yeah.
or 3. So if
Has
we
that
start
happened
this
recently?
game,
And did you go, whoa, not me. I'm not buying big rounds. Just say it.
I think I just went, thanks very much. And then next time around, I went and bought myself a drink.
And then exited quietly out the door. Do you think saving money's easy?
No.
Why?
Well, saving money is not easy when you're still at the first starting block, when you haven't done it consistently and you have. And the other thing is, do you know what my mental block is for saving money when you talk about like, okay, so shave some money off some of these outgoings that you have or whatever, but then don't let it kind of linger in your check account. Fine. I have a savings account though, but do you think that I'm not going to just like, the me that has the willpower today who's put that money away in there tomorrow is probably going to go, I'll pull that back out again and I'm going to spend it on something else. So it is difficult. It is difficult. I sort of initially almost need to have a savings account, and I know that there are some out there where put it in the account, but you're going to have to wait 24 hours before you can get that back again. I think maybe that might be a way that I could start doing it.
We could help you with that because this is a very, very, very the most common problem. Is people go, oh yeah, I have a savings account. I remember for like 20 years having a savings account that I regularly topped up and then just as quickly emptied. It's like a big fucking merry-go-round waste of time.
Yes.
But we open investments account which get people investing. So you might be investing in we could open something where you invested in American companies, the Fortune 500 companies. We a lot of people will do that, and they send their $20 a week or their $50 a week. A lot of people start $10 a week and then move to $50 a week, but it takes 3 days to get it out.
Yeah.
And it's not just a bank account either. You're buying positions in companies. It's like Sharesies.
Okay, so I mean that's different to say. To me, that
That
seems
is
like
savings.
that's different to saving. It
No,
seems different because
It seems.
because
It
in
seems.
fact it's like here I'm actually putting my money in this Venus flytrap over here.
Yeah,
This is the way I look at it. But the Venus flytrap will eventually let it go, and look what's going to be in there. It's going to be a whole much more money.
Yeah. It ends up getting like large, and then you've made it, and that's what you're talking about. You need to get over that hump because once it gets large to a point, like if it gets to $4,000, you're starting to think like, oh,
Yeah, let's go on a holiday.
no.
I know. Because that's the second hump.
Yeah, that's right. Because what we want to do first, it's real simple. We want to plan so it's easy and organised to have leftover money.
Yeah.
get the leftover money, perhaps put it somewhere where it's slightly more difficult to get and it will have more chance of accumulating. And then after it's accumulated, now you've got your emergency fund. But you're also now used to living like this.
I should actually put it in my daughter's bank account because she's one hell of a gatekeeper.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that.
She was like, Mum,
Yeah,
you said, don't
yeah,
give it back to me.
yeah. But did you?
Give it back to me right now.
But you saw what happened to my sharesies, and
Yes.
it's not going to do that in a bank account.
No, exactly. So it's almost the way you're framing it, like, yeah.
Yeah. So
Saving as opposed to
savings
investing
is
and earning.
Yeah, savings is simply the act of not spending money.
Well, then we need to call it something different.
Okay. Should we give it a new word?
Yes.
What are we going to go with? I think savings is the right one.
Is it?
But like I see what you're saying
Savings
now.
just
I
doesn't-
haven't realised this. What you're saying is that savings is like in a savings account. You're talking about investing, but it's the same thing. It's-
Right. Well, I've never looked at it as being the same thing.
Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful because really it's the act of not spending your money. And so it piles up. You could pile it up anywhere. You could pile it up in your mattress. That's savings. You could pile it up in a check account. That's savings. You could pile it up in a savings account.
Yeah.
Savings. You could pile it up in an investment account.
But I mean, it's smarter to put it into an investment account because a savings account, if you do manage to leave it in there for a couple of months or something, you're going to get very small dividends back again, aren't you?
Well, it's more.
And what you're going to get is, wow, well done.
Yeah.
You left that in there for a long time.
Because you'll learn about investing as you do it, and what ends up happening is you watch it, and then you watch your investment returns, and you start to realise, wait a minute, if I take that money out,
I'll get less.
it stops compounding.
Yeah.
So it stops you taking it out. Now,
Okay.
this money is not for anything. This is where other people fall off. It's not for a holiday. I know you know that. It's not for a new car. It's for security. It's for independence, not feeling beholden to anyone, not feeling beholden to my employer because I live week to week and I'm fucked if I don't have my job.
Yeah.
I want to get you to a place where you don't give a shit if you don't have a job because you've got enough money to sit back on your ass for a year.
Right. Well, I think with as of the start of the new year, I get a bit of a pay rise. So I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to take a small portion
Love
of
it.
that and I'm going to pop that into
Love
a
it.
shares account. I mean, I never do New Year's resolutions, but I've now got a plan, I think.
Yep.
And now's the best time to do that.
Just
and
put it
let's see what happens.
Cool. I love it. As a mum, do you feel pressure to manage your money differently than before you had kids?
I mean, you'd be ridiculous. Like, who wouldn't? It'd be
Bad mums.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, no, I mean, they should be your priority, your children, but like the last thing you want to do is say to your kid, "Oh, can we just hold off on that because Mum hasn't got any money?" Like, I very, very rarely would mention that unless my child was getting a little bit, can I have this? Can I have that? But I think it's important that you don't put stuff like that on kids.
No.
But
I remember my mum said that to me. She told me the story was an adult, and when I was a kid, she told me that she didn't have any money, and I started freaking out, and I started acting like, oh, am I allowed to go to the sports day? And stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Now, that's right, but you don't have to say that. You don't have to provide an explanation.
No, totally. No, I'm just saying I'm very mindful of that.
Yeah,
you
good.
know, but yeah, of course,
Yeah,
my spending
absolutely.
changed, and same with like you can't even going out and splurging. I mean, going out and having a round of drinks. I mean, that's not going to happen very often because
And the thing is, like the things that you've raised as problems, they're not problems. You should go and have a round of drinks. You should go to a concert. You should buy merch, and you should be able to do it all and still have 60 grand in the bank.
yeah.
Boom. Next question. This is the emotional side of money. What emotions come up for you when you think about your finances or saving money?
I think at the moment, because I've got some traction finally, but not that I've actually been trying to get traction. I've just been
You've
bumbling
been trying
along.
this for a long time. We've been talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Okay. This is true. But this is true. I went from being quite guarded about it
Yep.
And then being quite honest about, I'm just a little bit concerned about like looking at what I'm spending my money on. I was concerned about how that was going to really be a bit of an eye opener, and it actually wasn't really. It wasn't that bad. But
Do you know? I'm going to jump in. You know what the girls said after they had a budget meeting with you?
what
Georgia's sweet as.
really like?
Really?
Oh yeah, financially.
They think you're good.
Hear that?
They think you're good.
Yeah.
They definitely think you've got the resources to change your financial position in life.
Yeah, which is cool. And
Yeah.
so I've had to position myself mentally and mentally first to prepare myself to go, hang on a minute, stop frittering your money away. Yes, you've been doing well
Yeah.
to keep things clicking along. The kids haven't, wanted for anything. I haven't had to, for any. I've not had to go. I've never been somebody to go, hey, mum and dad, I never, not really.
Good, because you're independent, and I've always thought you were good with money. When we were living in Australia, and we were younger. I always thought you were amazing with money.
Really?
You had a new VW Golf.
Oh, yeah, but I leased that.
All right.
I leased that and it was brand new and
Well, you've projected wealth and success.
yeah,
Hanging
God,
out
but
with
then
Kyle and Jackie O.
That's right. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but I ended up paying for that whole thing. I paid for it because I got a 4-year lease. And then, of course, everything sort of imploded a little bit and I ended up moving back to New Zealand. And it was only 2 years into the lease. So if you're talking about like what's my biggest
Yeah.
regret for spending, it would have been because my plan was not to buy a brand new car. It was through my business to lease it.
Yeah.
And in the end, I spent a cool $41,000 and had no car.
Yeah.
So that was not cool.
Yeah, that. I
That
think we
was a
asked-
bit of an ouch. That was, but you know.
What it was though was also a great lesson.
Well, yeah, but who, you can never foresee the future, can you?
No,
but
you
yeah.
can't.
So
Well,
we're
you
talking.
know now not to move to another country, then lease a car.
Yes. Well, no, yeah. So we're talking about the emotional side of things, right? Is that
Yeah,
emotional
we-
side
yeah,
of money? How do I feel about what?
Oh no, we're done. I moved on to the next one. You did a good answer though. What's your most expensive oops?
That.
The car. Okay.
Stupid.
Do you have any strategies you've tried? Do you have any strategies you've tried to stick to a budget, and did they work? Are they working? I've got a funny feeling that things are starting to work.
Yeah, you know what it was actually having faith in your advice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't know.
Let's
I
do that
didn't-
again.
No, but I did because one time when I was in Sydney and everything was going pretty well, I actually sat down with a financial advisor and, we were looking into how I might end up buying a house. And that was many years ago. It's the only time that I've ever sought a financial advice. And that was because I felt that I was in a really good position. I was earning a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whereas I wasn't feeling that way when I first started this. Things have sort of changed actually of late. But yeah, like just actually recognizing
Just leaned into
I
it.
don't know much about this. Tell me what it is that I do, and then just trusting the process. I mean,
Oh,
sounds
that's so
cliche, but
good.
it's true. Yeah.
That's so good. I mean, we do so many meetings with people. We do all of our stuff on the Teams meetings. I think that's what they would have done with you, the girls. And we get a lot of really positive feedback like that. And like I will say, like we've got a new starter, Taylor. She's doing really, really well. And she had her first, we're training her up. And she had her first money coaching meeting. And we had another team member there, in the meeting as well, sitting sort of quiet. And afterwards, I would just say to her, how do you think the person that you're advising feels? Oh, they're really happy. How do you feel? She's like, I'm high. Like, this was a really good buzz because helping people like
you're
that.
turning around. I mean, it's one of those. There's different types of intelligence, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there's,
Yeah.
street smarts, and there's
Yeah.
book smarts,
Numbers and-
there's financial smarts, and
Yeah.
like that times have changed. I mean, I used to put $1. I used to get $2 back in the 80s. I used to get $2, and that was like brown $1 notes,
Oh,
right?
with your post book?
Yeah, with my bank book.
Bank
and so
book, yeah.
I would put $1 in that, and I'd be like, oh, it's my dollar, but I can spend this on a real hefty dollar mixture.
Yeah. That's a big bag of lollies.
Yes. But that wasn't for me because it was going in a savings account, and I was like, big whoop! I've saved $32.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I'm so glad we were able to help you. Okay, we're going to keep doing this.
Okay, good.
Okay, what's your biggest financial blind spot that needs your attention and keeps slipping through the cracks? What's your regular fuck up?
I don't have one.
Good.
I
Good.
think.
Yeah, good. Are you sure?
It used to be parking tickets.
Ah, right. There you go.
Yeah, I used to chase my tail a lot with those and things have changed now. But yeah, they used to get them in the mail, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, I better pay that, and then it would just filter into my pile of shit, and then and then you could. Nothing as bad as a few of my friends, and I know two different people who
out of control.
The fees, no, it would go to court or whatever.
Oh,
and I know. Somebody that ended up being $12,000 that they owed in parking tickets.
So that's pretty unorganised. I became so much more organised when I decided to stop drinking, right? And one of the things that I did, one of the things that I did, and that was just me because I was drinking heaps, but one of the things that I noticed straight away that if you need to do something, like you're opening up a letter, parking fine.
Oh, do it now. Do it while it's top of mind.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Just do it now. That is the secret to life.
I think I would end up going, did I pay that? And because you have to jump through so many hoops, remember what your password is, then you'd have to type in the whatever, and then sometimes it might say, well, this is no longer available for you to check. It just, I don't know, the system didn't really seem set up that well that you could even confirm that you'd bloody paid the thing, right? So, but no, I don't seem to have that issue now because I've got a car park at work, so we're good.
Oh, right, okay, so that's awesome.
Sorry, don't skite, Georgia.
Nah, you
as your mum would say, don't skite.
Yeah, you should celebrate success.
Yes.
Aspirations and goals.
Success is a car park, yes.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is. I remember when I got my first corporate car park. I was the man. And then they gave me a V8 to park in it and a fuel card. Anyway.
No, I've got a car that's got peeling paint. It's an eyesore, so that's my next big.
I know your little car. Your car is fine.
No, it's got there's something missing. Some sort of main ingredient wasn't put in the paint, and so now it's just peeling all the way. It's like it's got sunburn. So all of the top of it, all the paint's coming off, and now it's just starting on the bonnet, and that's good.
So you need a spray.
What a crap thing to have to pay for! I'm going to have to do the whole car, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
get one of your guy mates to check the quote.
Good man.
We're just trying to be helpful.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I know.
Aspirations and goals. If you could fast forward 5 years, where would you like or want your finances to be? So just tell me in a few sentences what you look like, what your bank account looks like, what your organisation looks like. What would you like to be? What would you like to, okay, Jeremy, I would have liked to have been really in control of my budget so that I pretty much know
I know. I'm just trying to shift this in my thought. Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I think you've already kind of laid it out for me, at 5 years. So, what you just showed me, that when you finished, you decided to detour your money from Lotto into the Sharesies, that was close to 5 years ago, wasn't it? So, I guess I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to do exactly what you have done at a bare minimum because...
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
And how you do that, how I did it, is I did my budget, and I have the leftover money, it's there, and I'm like, maybe I'll just take 100 out of that and put it in Sharesies.
Yeah, I can see the mindset shift,
Yeah, good.
and I think that what you explained is just so true, and it's shave some money off here and there. You don't have to do that, or maybe stop paying for neon or whatever it is, but don't let it just float around in your check account because, girl, you'll find something to spend it on.
Yeah, we all do. So, all right. So, fast forward 5 years. Here's what I imagine for you, and here's where I want you to be. I want you to be strictly budgeting, but so good at it that you've always got splurge money. You've always got junk food money. You've always got it, okay? But you can still save.
Hang on a minute. In 5 years from now, maybe on the junk food. No.
Okay. All right. Some sort of frittering. And you've got no debt whatsoever, maybe a mortgage.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you've got at least 6 months of your monthly expenses in a bank account that you can access whenever.
Yeah.
And you've got an investment account that's just crossing over few tens of thousands.
Yeah.
So, because I
And
tell you what, you do your budget and you run your accounts like that. When you want to go talk to Megan about getting a mortgage, she'll look at your accounts and go, "Oh, look how beautiful these are," because she knows, and she's like, "Shit, you run this." The bank's going to say, "So yes, I can just tell."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be there, eh?
Yes.
Okay, good. What's one luxury experience you'd love to afford without guilt?
Luxury experience.
Pacific Island holiday?
Yeah.
Stone Roses in Vegas?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Probably one of the bands that, if I keep waiting for them to come over here, they will retire or I will die. So yeah, probably go and with a group of friends as well before the same thing happens.
Do you know, like Kylie gets grumpy with me when she's like, we could afford to go to like Paris. And I'm like, yeah. We should
But then
go.
our money wouldn't be compounding, darling.
Do you know me? So what I say is, I want to go to Paris. Okay, how much is that? Flights are $4,000 return. Accommodation, about the same. Couple of grand, few grand spending money. Need $12,000. Okay,
Shopping. Hang on. Shopping.
Let's start saving, is what I say.
Oh, for that specifically, because we're not touching that because that's quite happily building over here. Can't you see?
Yeah. And if we eat into it,
Yeah.
it goes. It's like pulling a handbrake on it.
Yeah.
And then it will stay at 45 for 2 years.
So let's have a look at our splurge budget.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
let's start adding to the splurge.
Yeah,
splurge
because do you know
budget.
when we were
And
so
she'll be like, oh, maybe we'll just go to New Caledonia.
yeah, because we weren't because when we met a decade ago, she had just come out of a marriage, and I just starting super advice, and like we didn't have much money, and she always had a dream of going on family holiday with the boys because she never went on family holidays often when she was a child, and so I remember I just said, okay, I jumped on, I had a look for the cheapest holiday park sort of close by, and I found Owakuni because it's inland, not a beach.
Yeah.
And I said, we can, if we put away $10 a week into this new account that I've opened called Holiday Account and just forget about it, set up automatic payment, we had enough money for a first family holiday with the boys in 12 months' time. And we went to it, and we've gone every year since.
I would like to know how she was sort of thinking initially when you were sort of
saying
busting
these
out
things.
this idea, yeah.
Yeah, she probably thought I was
what a
geeky.
tight ass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I tell you what, though, I knew that, and it could have changed me.
Yeah.
It could have made me go, oh, what the heck.
Yeah, because you easily were trying to impress her as well.
That's
yeah,
right.
totally. So, okay,
but I did the... I did what I like to say to people, stick with it. You know? Be strong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you knew what it is that you were trying to achieve, and that goes across all parts of your life, not just your business.
Yep.
You've got to stick behind the advice that you're giving out. So, cool.
Yeah. So that was good. Okay, fun and relatable. If you suddenly won the lottery, what would you splurge on first, and what would you never spend money on?
What would I splurge on first if I won the lottery? I would gather all of my really good friends and I'd get us all together somewhere really cool,
Nice. Experience. Have an experience with your friends.
Totally. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Yep, cool. And that one's a bit hard.
Try not
actually.
to promise every single one of them that night while we're having drinks. Yeah, I'll fucking hook you up.
Oh,
all right, you'll be looked after.
I know of a youngish guy who won $24 million, and it only took 7 years before he was $400,000 in debt and in rehab.
Yikes. Again, easy come, easy go, right? Yeah, and that's why they say these days you've got to seek financial. Well, it's suggested that you seek financial advice. Yeah, because there'd be nothing in the world that would feel worse than having won that money, knowing that was a once in a lifetime thing, and then knowing I fucked it.
So it goes to show
awful.
The important thing with money is to know what to do with it, not how much you've got. Like all those American sports stars that end their careers and end up like flat broke.
Yeah.
I've got a question. I don't know if it will fit, or
okay.
I just find it really interesting, just what you guys are talking about, because I'm very much relate to you with my money. Tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand, when someone with your expertise and or you see people doing well. Tall poppy syndrome, when you see people doing well and saying this is what you should do with your money, it kind of goes like what tall poppy syndrome does, and goes, who's this person? You don't know. So what is?
It's easier to continue down your path if you
But you have to be honest with yourself. Like you've got to get to a place where you're honest with yourself, and you have to be open to getting like.
It's an ego thing. It's
an ego thing.
So, for example, when I started in business with my business partner, he had 10 years experience on me, and he'd give me all this advice, and I'd be like, "Oh, the fuck are you? I'm 39. I know what I'm doing." And it took me 2 years to realise if I just shut my mouth and stop defending my bad position, and I know it is, I'm just defending my ego, and that's what I think tall poppy syndrome is. It's easy to continue down the wrong path if you've got someone to blame. I think the number one thing to make a change in your financial life, because once that happens, you'll realise there's a few other areas you could do the change, is to go hardcore honest with yourself. That is the trick. So, for example, I don't drink anymore, and people say to me, "Why don't you drink anymore?" And I said, "Because I was a drunk." I never used to say that. I used to say, "Oh, I was starting a business and I wanted to
make some very poor decisions."
Yeah, I was a drunk. And like, if I was really honest, and this is where I realised where the freedom is, because when you get it all out, you can't be backed into a corner anymore.
Sometimes it's an age thing where you're at in your life
and
as
maturity.
well. Yeah, totally. Because you've got to, it's easy enough to skate along and just go, sweet as, and then all of a sudden you might even read an article that says, all right, so this is how much the majority of people in New Zealand have in their KiwiSaver. And you're like, oh, yeah, sweet as, I've got a bit more than that. But then it goes, well, this is how much you actually need. And then you realise, man, I don't have that many more years in which I need to be making and accumulate enough money to put in there. And I don't have $200,000 in there by a long shot. So if somebody in my family doesn't die and give me all of their money, then I'm fucked. That's, sort of the way you need to look at it, I guess.
A lot of people have this thing called lottery syndrome as well, where they're waiting for something to happen.
It's
like,
never,
I'm going to find out that I'm owed a castle from the great uncle in Scotland that I didn't know about, or I'm going to win the lottery. And you can actually propel yourself forward with your bad decisions for years with the dream that something's going to happen. One thing I've learned is I can say to you, I could help you, but you'd have to listen. I can show you the path, but you have to take the steps. I can't take the steps for you. And if they are pushing back or making excuses, I'll just say, hey man, it's just not your time. And just come back to me when you're a little bit more sick of being broke.
At the end of the day, I mean, you don't have to help anybody, really.
Yeah, that's right. And so, because no one comes to us and pays us to argue with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What we do get a lot of that though, because we'll have employers go, Jeremy and the team, come and talk to all my electricity linesmen about being better with your money, and we get a lot of that attitude, like,
why do you want to know my fucking business?
Yeah, and usually
shame, right?
It's
tied to the
ego and
it's
shame.
ego.
Yeah.
It's ego. Like one thing we'll say is money represents everything in this modern world. It's what you wear, it's what you eat, it's where you live, it's what you drive, it's where you go on holiday, it's who you hang with, it's your status, it's absolutely everything. And like I did a presentation in Taranaki recently, and there was a guy there who was really friendly. He came in and gave everyone a hug, and it was jokey sort of a character, and you could tell he was, like the fun clowny sort of guy, not a clown, but the joker of the team. And he sat down and he had a few challenges when I started my presentation. Then he walked out 3/4 of the way through, and after he'd left and walked off down, the whole room goes, "That's the guy that needs it most." So he felt challenged. He felt that I was calling him useless, even though I was presenting to a room of 100 people.
And it's like, I don't know what your group of friends are like, but in our group of friends, we all project that everything's pretty good, like there's not too many of us, when I say, I won't buy the next round. No, then that's not true. And I'll be like, oh, God, how many of these, but we're not all going, so how much are you earning these days? How's it all going? Like you just, it's something that's not talked about. And Jeremy and I are mates. And initially when he was going, should we talk about, your finances? I was like,
no.
You guys, you want to look under my hood? Piss off. Excuse me. But But at the end of the day, I trust him. I trust that this is at the end. I don't care what anybody else thinks,
Yeah.
because he's going to help me drive in the right direction, and he already has, without me really doing half the things that he did suggest, but some of the others I have.
The thing is, like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It really doesn't. It's got nothing to do with it. It's how you spend it. It's always that side of the profit and loss. I mean, I've been working in my business, Super Advice, for 10 years, and I gave myself a pay rise 8 years ago and have never given myself one since. And I don't pay myself heaps. I pay myself bugger all. But because I've deployed all of the stuff that we're talking about, in 5 years I've saved $120,000. And that doesn't even include the value that we've put into the business that we're building behind us. That's a separate thing altogether. Or doesn't include the equity that we've got in our property. Doesn't include my KiwiSaver. It's just money that I've gone, won't spend that, tuck it in there. Won't spend that, tuck it in there. I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say, if we go out for dinner, can we share a main? Because I never really eat the whole thing anyway. I end up getting a doggy bag. And I just completely changed everything. And I've just tucked away $120,000.